Let's move on to iPad OS 15. All right. It's really painful for me to actually talk about this part because I didn't get what I want. So this is a slight biased opinion.
Did
for
you
the
end up
iPad.
buying the iPad Pro?
No, I did not because I was waiting
okay.
for WWDC.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, so there you go.
Using the noggin.
It stings, but it doesn't sting as much.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people might return their iPad, so that's going to be huge. Okay, so let's go on to the first thing I see here is multitasking. Apparently, so this is a feature that already existed, but that was a little finicky before, and it didn't really work properly. As now is more refined, apparently, from what I heard from other people. So this is actually like pretty cool, I think. Like split screen multitasking, and to be able to recognize where you left off and everything, and you can delete pages that you didn't need anymore. I think overall, pretty cool thing.
I think it's like that stopgap between it not being a Mac and it not like it's a step closer to becoming a Mac, but not quite a Mac. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely making it a lot easier when you're using the iPad to do different things.
Right.
To switch between different apps and like how to split the views. I think it's a lot easier. Definitely more useful.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah, I mean, not really much going on there. I mean, you're more than welcome to go onto Apple's website and take a look at every single one. I just feel like other features on here based on that, not really keynote worthy. Widgets and app library. This is another one where I think there was a guy, I went onto Twitter today. There was a guy tweeted, "Thanks, Apple, for me to purchase an iPad Pro just so I can get Pro widget features." Obviously, a joke, but there's a little bit of sad emotion to that because this thing with the widget thing, I think it should have came out last year or during the year. I don't think it was keynote worthy. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I do think the widgets and the app library should have came last year, just like it did with iOS. But maybe they got held back to some constraint or something.
Yeah, I don't know. That I don't have anything more to say to that, to be honest. However, the next one, Quick Notes, I think is a pretty cool feature. The only reason why is because I think of this as like your digital sticky note. And that's how I see it, is you can just quickly pull it up, jot down some notes. It is going to remember that you made notes for that specific time and app that you used it for. So whenever you come back, you can review that and you can scroll through your different quick notes. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. What do you think of it?
I think it's pretty handy. Like the idea of just having your note come with you wherever you go in the Apple ecosystem is very handy. Like you can pull up your quick note in the iPad and then it should pop up in the Mac OS later.
Mm-hmm.
Or on the iPhone. So like you said, just literally it's easily accessible from anywhere in the system. Just a quick swipe.
Right.
From my understanding.
Yeah.
Or a keyboard shortcut. So it's a keyboard shortcut or a swipe up from the corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for that feature. I mean, you can do a lot more into it. Like you can select different text and links and you can put it in there and stuff like that. So it's pretty intuitive. You don't necessarily need to only use an Apple Pen for that.
No, you don't have to use an Apple Pen. No.
Yeah. And obviously SharePlay is also included into the iPad.
Yeah, they're bringing that in there this time, yeah.
So that's pretty much the same as your Mac or your iPhone. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Oh, I mean, okay, so there is another thing where Safari had a little bit of an update, but I think this actually go for the Mac OS as well? The
Yeah, it goes
whole
for all three.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so like the streamlined tab bar and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I don't know. But
I
yeah,
think
go ahead.
one of the biggest things with Safari is the ability to use extensions on the iOS version, and I'm assuming on the iPad one you can too. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that right here.
So
yeah, extensions is huge. I don't know how compatible it is with all the extensions. So, like, do you think it can be compatible with every single Google extension there is?
not Google extensions, Safari extensions.
Oh, right, but like pretty much extension is like, you know how you can migrate between some extensions, so like you can from some browser to another browser. So if you're using Brave, then you can migrate all your extensions over to Google. Do you think that's going to be possible for Safari? They didn't really mention it, but I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool if they did that. But
like, if it's like, let's say it's an extension like Honey, like you just log in with your Honey account and all your settings just transfer over.
Right, something that a lot of people are already used to who are using Chrome and stuff. So
yeah, so I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, for sure. But also this kind of segues into another thing, because I was going to mention that this could be the possible phase out of Google for Apple. Like, there's like this like indirectly phasing it out, and they're making incremental improvements to this. And the next thing is Maps. And I never used the onboard Maps at all. I've always used Google Maps. It's always been better for me. And whenever I'm driving, whenever I'm just looking for directions and stuff like that. But now I don't know, I might give it a shot once the 15 comes out, the Mac OS 15, the everything actually, the iOS 15, Mac OS 15. I'm just going to probably just switch over to Apple Maps.
I started using Apple Maps a lot more regularly last year when iOS 14 came out. And for 9 out of 10 trips, it worked great. And the one thing that I like about it over Google Maps is it's a lot smoother, and it visually, to me, just looks better. However, Google Maps is more accurate. It will get you I think it has a better route to get you wherever you're trying to get to. And it has a lot more features still. Like, if you're in Canada, there's no biking directions that I can find, or at least not in BC. So like Google has all those extra features down pat. And they just announced, Apple just brought their version of Street View called, I think it was Look Around. And actually that looks really nice too. And it's smooth. Like, that's the biggest thing, at least on my iPhone. I find that Apple Maps is a lot smoother when you're actually just clicking to move forward and stuff and playing around with it.
My biggest takeaway from this is, because I use it when I'm driving a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people use it when they're driving, and they have the feature where you can actually drive. And sometimes when you look on Google Maps, there's overlapping roads, especially overpasses. And they don't really tell you that there is an overpass, or there's no differentiation, because everything's a 2D format. So whenever you're going and you're trying to like get, like, I sometimes miss a turn because I thought that was like an overlapping type of road instead of, being on the actual road that I'm currently on, or vice versa. Like, I didn't know that I was supposed to be on that overpass and to go over. Like, so now they clearly have a difference, and you're supposedly not supposed to miss a turn. So I think that's pretty cool. Another thing is, because I did travel to, Tokyo and stuff, and I know this issue because I've had it so many times, is when you get off the station, and if you're in New York, you might have this for the first time if you're visiting there, is you don't know which direction to go after you get off the train or vice versa when you're getting on the train, or like getting into the station, which, track to go to. But mostly because a lot of people don't know which exit to go into or which entry point to go into. And I think that's pretty cool where they have the augmented reality thing, and basically it shows you and you scan the area around you, and then you can see, like, it'll tell you this way to go to your station, to go to the direction that you want to go in. That's huge because some places, they have signs everywhere, but you can still get confused.
No, yeah.
So
the only thing is, I feel like by the time it trickles down to other countries and zones, it's going to be a while.
True. Yes.
That's my only concern with this.
Yeah. Same with Google still has the edge over that in a sense.
Yeah. They've done it years before them. So they're ahead of schedule here. They also showed off a really cool in-depth version of the map. Like if you go to San Francisco, like they've literally got these like really nice 3D like created buildings, and they've even created a night mode version of it. I don't think Canada is going to see that for at least a year.
Yeah. I don't think Japan's going to see it anytime soon either. But I wanted to kind of just quickly go over the live text, and just to point out how useful this is going to be for travelers. Just to be able to go around and do the translation part. But I was just thinking, and this is another thing why I think that they're trying to slowly phase out Google, is because they have their own translation app, right? Mm. And I never used it because I've always used Google, and Google always had that in-camera feature where you can basically scan it and the language changes to whatever. Now, although Apple doesn't have every compatible language and the capabilities that Google Translate has, but I feel like it's a very, very cool feature that they have. Just with the whole translating thing and using your camera to translate, you can either, dial your phone number and stuff like that real quick from that. So I think that's pretty cool. I see a good feature in that.
I think it definitely helped a lot of travelers that are confused.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the next feature is Spotlight. I just wanted to go over Spotlight real quick. We don't really need to go over too much of the other stuff. There is Swift Playgrounds, where if you're into coding, it makes it easier for you to code and stuff. But mostly Spotlight, I wanted to focus on that only because this actually segues into part of phasing out Google. I have a feeling Spotlight is going to be like their Google search. It already kind of is within the Apple ecosystem. It's like a search function, right? And it's built in with Siri and everything. So I just have this weird feeling that I don't know if they're going to call their search engine Spotlight, but they might as well be. They might as well create a web URL saying Spotlight, and that would be their Google competitive. But what do you think of this whole thing, which is whole theme of like, is it starting to phase out Google, or is it just putting something out there because they can?
I don't know if it's phasing out or just Apple just trying to keep everyone in the Apple ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they're going to be like, we're just going to turn off Google, but it'd be like, what, instead of having, Google search as the first thing that pops up, it could be Spotlight search. And then you'd be given the option later to change it to Google search if you like. Because when Microsoft tried that, they got into trouble when they forced everyone to use, Internet Explorer and stuff. That didn't go down very well.